Dubai is one of the most curious cities on the planet. Though the city got its start in the early 1800s as a tiny little fishing village, most outside its borders didn't really care about it until the 1980s. That's about the time the Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed, established Emirates Airlines. The Sheikh's plans were to expose the Western world to all Dubai had to offer, and boy did it work. Corporate executives of all shapes and sizes flocked to Dubai, attracted by its oil-based wealth and incredibly lax tax laws. It's true, for a long time, money made in Dubai by a foreign company was simply not taxed. For many countries, this is still the case. Even a country like the United States, who does tax income that their citizens earn overseas, waits until you earn over $90,000 to send in the taxman. But that alone wasn't enough to catapult Dubai into the stratosphere. The tragic events of 9/11 caused that. After the terrorist attacks on the United States, the country passed the Patriot Act, which made money laundering far more difficult to pull off. This made Arab business people in the Middle East quite uneasy about investing in the USA, so they turned elsewhere. That somewhere wound up being oil-rich, tax-free Dubai. The new Sheikh Mohammed's 2002 decision to let foreigners own real estate in the city, something they could not do in any other Gulf area city, was the final selling point in convincing Middle Eastern and Western business types alike that Dubai was the place to be. Thus, Dubai became a super metropolis, seemingly overnight. Numerous gigantic modern skyscrapers suddenly sprang up as if summoned by magical forces, and business began to boom. Thanks to the internet, Dubai essentially went viral over the past decade. People simply cannot get enough of a city so sleek and futuristic looking. You half expect to see George Jetson flying around on his way to work. Many choose to live there rather than simply look. The city doubled in population between 2002 and 2008, quadrupling its urban footprint at the same time. All this incredible and rapid-fire construction and growth begs the question, how much did it cost to build this city? It cannot have been cheap. Despite what Van Starship insists, you cannot build a city on rock and roll. You need serious cash. Of course, a question like this is impossible to answer with a strict number. After all, where would you begin? Do we need to know how much money it cost to start up a little fishing village in the 1800s? Is there any way for us to know that? Even if we simply focus on Dubai's advancements this century, there's no real way to know how much every house and every building in Dubai cost. But we can get an idea based on some of the most impressive skyscrapers in the city. By doing so, we'll learn that the total cost of building a city like Dubai is an awful lot, but not quite in all the areas that you might assume. The website Emirates Woman listed the 20 most expensive buildings in the world, and nothing in Dubai even cracks the top 10. The most expensive building in Dubai is the Princess Tower. This 107-story skyscraper, which was the tallest residential building in the world until 2015, only cost $2.17 billion to build. Dubai doesn't show up on the list again until the 19th spot. That honor goes to the Burj Khalifa, which cost $1.5 billion to build. This despite it being the tallest building in the world by a wide margin at a positively dizzying 829.8 meters, or 2,722 feet. On a side note, the most expensive building in the world is the 99-acre Al Haram Mosque in Saudi Arabia. That place cost an unimaginable Dr. Evil-approved $100 billion to build. The second costliest building, also in Saudi Arabia, only cost $15 billion. While Dubai's pricing points aren't that much cheaper than the average skyscraper, it's pretty clear much of the money it took to build Dubai did not go into its residential and commercial properties. No, the majority of what it took to turn Dubai into Dubai went toward other, more ambitious projects. You've probably seen the famous Palm Jumeirah, a man-made island that looks like a giant sand dollar. It started life in 2001 and quickly became a hub for the super rich. Perhaps most famously, David and Victoria Beckham lived there when they're not busy kicking around soccer balls or spicing up your life. It cost a reported $12 billion to put together enough sand and rocks to erode the water and form the island of Dubai's dreams. But Palm Jumeirah isn't the only artificial island Dubai has invested money in. Check out the World Islands. These are 300 tiny man-made islands that, when seen from up above, take on the shape of a world map. Construction on these islands began in 2003, stopped in 2008 when the world's economy skidded to a screeching halt, and only picked up again in 2018. The world is now complete, though many of the islands are unoccupied and starting to erode. That's a shame considering it cost Dubai around $14 billion to assemble this thing. Maybe you can negotiate Antarctica for a cool $100. Never mind the world. How about the universe? Yes, Dubai has also put money into a series of islands that, when complete, will take the shape of the Milky Way galaxy. We're not sure exactly how much this incomplete project will ultimately cost Dubai, but we can take a guess. It's about 3 times as large as the world islands. That's not exactly drawn to universal scale, but we'll let that slide. So it will probably cost about $40 billion when all is said and done. Then there is Jumeirah Garden City, which costs around $90 billion and isn't even complete. The global financial crisis of 2008 stopped this 12-district mini-city in its tracks, and it's not yet restarted. It's probably for the best. Whenever we think of 12 districts, we think of kids being drafted to kill one another in the Hunger Games. Not too many countries should want that as their image. There's also the Al Maktoum International Airport, which is also not currently complete. It's scheduled to become fully operational by 2025, and so far cost around $80 billion. But for a place like Dubai, which is all about everything being bigger and better than everywhere else, having the largest airport in the world is completely on brand and will be worth every penny. How about the mythical Dubai Land? Once complete, it will be the world's largest retail and entertainment mecca, dwarfing the Walt Disney World Resort. It's unknown when the entire thing will go live, but we do know that it has cost over $64 billion to put together so far. The city is also hoping to launch the Arabian Canal at some point. This 75-kilometer-long wonder will be the largest man-made canal on the planet once complete. We don't know when that will happen, but we do know it will run approximately $50 billion to finish. Dubai has many other projects of various shapes and sizes in various planning stages, and even the sharpest financial mind could only guess rough estimates as to the cost of those. All of this is to say that while it's extremely expensive to build an ultra-modern city like Dubai, it's nearly impossible to pinpoint an exact price. What's more important is how much a place in Dubai would cost you. The answer? Quite a lot. If you plan to visit Dubai, expect to fork over a significant chunk of change, hundreds of dollars easily, to enjoy yourself. After all, those man-made island universes and Disney-shaming resorts won't pay for themselves.